Welcome to Transgender Day of Remembrance 2025 in Edinburgh. This is designed to commemorate transgender people who've been killed for being transgender. Let's look at the facts. Every year, roughly 320 people are killed around the world who are transgender. That's out of 470,000 murders. If we say that about 1% of the population is trans, that makes it seem like it's 20 times less likely that you'll be murdered if you're transgender. Let's look in the UK. In the UK, there's roughly one transgender person murdered per year out of 700 murders, which makes it look like it's about 7 times safer to be transgender. Now, there's not an epidemic of transgender murders. There's no evidence to support that. So what's Transgender Day of Remembrance really all about? It's a
Filming right now. Thank
no, this is a public place. I'll film if I like. I'm not disturbing things.
you. Okay, but you are filming. Could you then turn around to film? Thank you. Where you're not showing people's faces.
You can't see anyone's face. It's a public place, and I'll carry on. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, just interrupted there. So what is Transgender Day of Remembrance all about? It's a cynical campaigning strategy, and the idea is it can't be criticised because it's about remembrance, but it's actually all about generating a false victim narrative. Now, is there actually an elevated risk of death for transgender people? Sadly, there is, and that's mainly through people taking their own
Stop
life.
filming me right now.
Richard, come on, it's a vigil.
I'm
Go
not
home,
disturbing
Richard.
it. I'm
It's a
not
vigil.
disturbing it.
What?
I'm not disturbing it.
Well, you are.
I'm not.
Why are you filming? It's a vigil. Come on.
I'm making a video, but I'm not disturbing it in the slightest. You can't hear me from there. If you went to take part in the vigil, you wouldn't even hear
But
anything.
why are you in Bristol Square when there's a vigil happening, which you're obviously not part of?
I'm making a video about it, commentating on it.
Why do you think the followers of the Scottish Family Party would want to see a vigil of trans people?
Well, I'm going to explain to them my view of it.
I think they probably know your view if they follow you already.
Not about
What
this.
are they going to gain about your view, but they don't know by you filming a vigil?
Because I haven't explained before my particular view about Transgender Day of Remembrance.
Okay, what is your particular view?
My view is that the evidence doesn't support an epidemic of murders among transgender people. It doesn't show an increased rate. But I'm going to say, but I think there probably is an increased risk of violent crime against transgender people, partly because of prejudice, partly because of lifestyle, and partly because of what sometimes has happened. There have been murders in this situation where a trans woman goes with a man, and the man thinks it's a woman, and then they start having sex. The man then finds a bodily appendage that he wasn't expected. He becomes very angry, feels he's been tricked, he's embarrassed, and often there are drink and drugs involved. That's a very explosive situation.
This is a very long
And violence breaks out, and there have been murders in that situation, which is not justified at all.
Okay.
But it is playing
Here's
with
the
fire.
important question. How many deaths make it valid or whatever to have a vigil? How many deaths need to happen for a vigil to be relevant?
You have a vigil for any number you like. But
So there's nothing wrong with having this vigil.
but I think the intention is to
So
create.
there's you're saying you can have a vigil for however many people as you want, but you're saying there's something wrong about having Trans Day of Remembrance.
I'm not saying having a vigil is wrong. Have a vigil for whoever and how many people you like. But I think it's intended to give the impression of an epidemic of murder of transgender people, which I don't believe is the
So you
case.
don't believe any trans people being murdered?
No, I think some have, yeah.
Okay, then we can have the vigil.
But the statistics seem to show that it's at a lower rate than the general population. I'm not
But if
stopping.
you want to have a vigil for the general population, you can, Richard. You can have that any day you
I know I
want.
can. I'm not
You
here.
can film that. You can live stream it to the Scottish Family Party.
I'm not here saying
Follow
you-
us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter,
I'm
which
not
you
here-
probably still use.
I'm not here saying that you shouldn't have a vigil.
Then why are you here?
I'm saying that the vigil is intended to create, I think, a false impression. So is there an epidemic of murders of transgender people? Well, the evidence doesn't seem to support that. So what's Transgender Day of Remembrance all about? Well, in my view, it's a cynical campaigning strategy. The idea is it's a day of remembrance, so it can't be criticised because it's an act of remembrance. And it's designed to generate a victim narrative. Now, I do believe that there are elevated risks to transgender people. Sadly, taking their own life is probably premier among them, and I'm sure there's some underreporting as well of violence against transgender people. But on the other hand, I would say transgender people probably are at an elevated risk of murder in some ways. for various factors. One factor could be prejudice and hostility. Some people will be attacked and even murdered because they're transgender. That's obviously appalling. Also, probably the lifestyle of a lot of transgender people might involve nightlife, sexual promiscuity, being a sex worker, and those things are more dangerous than staying at home and watching the TV. And then the last reason that sometimes has resulted in the past in murder of trans people is a situation where a trans woman finds, say, a man in a bar, and they go back to a flat and become increasingly amorous, and then the man finds that his partner is a trans woman and has an appendage that he wasn't expecting of a woman. Now, how does he react in that situation? He's embarrassed, he's humiliated, he feels he's been tricked, he's furious. Maybe both of them have been drinking or taking drugs. It's an explosive situation. The trans woman could be furious at what he sees as transphobia. The man's furious. Is that likely to turn violent? Very possibly. It has led to murders in the past. Now, any trans woman doing that to a man obviously doesn't deserve to be murdered, but they are playing with fire. Now, I have great sympathy for transgender people because I think they're on a road that is not leading to health and happiness. And I wish they were on a road that was heading towards health and happiness. Do you mind if I film you, Jack?
I couldn't care less. That's fine.
Okay,
You can absolutely
sure.
film me rather than the people that are here just mourning family, friends that they've lost. Of course you can.
Transgender Day of Remembrance is designed to be commemorating transgender people who've been murdered, isn't it?
Yes.
How many transgender people are murdered in Britain every year?
I'm sure that is a number you could probably quote me wrong.
It's about one, according to record. I mean, it might be higher, they might be underreported, but recorded it's about one a year.
I'm pretty sure it's a lot more than that if we're looking at actual reported statistics.
Well, they are the reported statistics. So.
You can't just say statistics. If you can show me these statistics,
I could show you.
Okay,
I'll film
I would
that.
love to.
If you want to get your phone out and just
no, I
do
would
a
love
search.
you to show me.
Well,
your
are you
sources.
doubting it?
Yes.
Okay, how many do you think?
I don't think it matters how many it is. Every single person that dies due to a murder or a suicide or anything else is a tragedy. Even if we're here to mourn one person, that shouldn't matter.
I agree. I absolutely
Okay.
agree. But I think the purpose of this event is to try to portray a narrative that transgender people are the victims of an epidemic of violence.
I feel like we
the,
could maybe
it
look
isn't
at
the
it in
case.
terms of you being here as perpetrating this violence, in terms of harassing a group of people.
Right, so I'm being violent, you're saying?
Violence is not just physical.
Okay, so do you believe I'm being violent now?
I believe that you're being hostile, and hostility is a form of violence.
So
Would
yes.
you be here filming if it wasn't for trans people?
So
No, would you be here
Just
filming if
to-
it was for another demographic of people?
just following the logic.
No. Would you be here if it was another demographic of
Look,
people?
I'm not going to be like bullied like that.
Bullied?
I asked you
Okay,
a question. I asked you a question, and your answers logically entailed that yes, I am being violent. Could you just? So that's a yes, is it? I'm being
So
violent.
I would
for
say
everything.
that you have a camera that is pointing at me. You've come to a vigil to mourn the loss of life, and you've chose to try and debate people, film people that are mourning. What would you say that is?
I didn't come here to debate people. You've chosen to come and debate.
Because you're filming a
You
group of
could
people.
call it what you like, but to call it violence, I mean that's
I
just.
never used that word. You used that word.
Come on, you just said it is. You said it's being violent.
I said you were harassing people. You were filming a group of people. That could be counted as violence.
Just to wrap up, it was interesting listening to the speakers. One of the speakers said, "Today we remember, tomorrow we riot." It's quite concerning. You can see that when I was trying to give my little talk the second time, they made sort of screen behind me with a big Palestinian flag. What that's got to do with Transgender Day of Remembrance, I really do not know. But where I was standing, I was well away from the vigil, off to the side and towards the back of the vigil. I wasn't actually planning to speak to anyone, as I said, but just people came over, so I had a chat. But to conclude, Transgender Day of Remembrance is a campaigning event masquerading as a remembrance event. Right, thanks for watching, do subscribe and see you next time.